YouTube, how's it going? Today I'm going to be going over how I plan every Japan climbing trip. Um, and it's 3 steps. I've been to Japan 4 times, and my last trip was an awesome climbing trip. And so I've kind of gotten the hang of planning these Japan trips. And so today I'm going to go over how to do that. Um, for a little bit of background, like Japan is awesome. When it comes to climbing, they have their own style. They're super cool. If you're watching this, you probably have seen some of their stuff. The climbers from their country are amazing. And so that's partially due to their gyms, the culture there, and like the environment as far as climbing goes. And so that's why everybody does want to go to Japan to climb. I'm going to break it down for you, 3 steps right now, as far as how you should plan that. So, step one is to make sure you have the money to go to Japan. Depending on how long you want to go, right? I'd recommend at least going for like 2 weeks. Um, for a 2 week trip, I'd recommend saving about $3,000, I would say, if you're not a big spender, and that'll cover your flight, your housing, your eating, and all of your expenses for climbing, and just like living out there for 2 weeks. If you're going to be there for longer, plan for a little more, right? If you want to be there for a full month, I'd say probably like 4 to 5 thousand is what you're looking at. A majority of this is going to be for your flights. So flights, depending on where you're from, I'm from Southern California, LA area. Flights are about $800 to $1,000 if you book them in advance, right? And so that's already a third of the cost. Your housing is going to be around, it depends, right? So I like to go with other people, and I also like to book through Airbnb. I'm not a big hotel guy. I like the feel of Airbnbs. They're usually in more convenient places. Um, and they're also usually cheaper, which is nice. So I would keep that in mind. Um, my tip for booking housing is to make sure you are booking it, if you can, near a train station. That's like the primary mode of transportation in Japan. And so you want to make sure you're next to like a big train station. Um, if you're next to one, then you're all good. And if it's within your budget and it looks like um, it's, I don't know, a good place you want to stay, obviously keep in mind things like Wi-Fi, air conditioning, like laundromat stuff, a kitchen if you really want that. Like you're gonna be out there for a while, and so um, I typically eat out, but some people like to cook food no matter where they are. So make sure you check all of that before you book a place. Um, I'm talking from the experience of going to Tokyo for climbing. And so I like booking around like the Tokyo area. Um, and so, yeah. Um, so flights, choose whichever airline you're comfortable with. Housing. So my housing is usually like $500, I'd say, for 2 weeks, and that's usually split with other people. And so those are like half the costs of like a 2 week trip, and the other 1,500 or 1,000 is going to be coming from just like food and like buying stuff. Like obviously, I want to go there for climbing, and you probably do too. But there are other things to do that you probably will do. Check out, explore, and so my budget always is like safe for that, just in case. Um, So yeah, I'd say like the $1,500 is like a safe amount for those 2 weeks, at least for me. I'm not a huge spender. I'm also not super frugal, so I will buy stuff. Um, so yeah. Number two is planning for Japan. So planning for Japan means planning where you're gonna stay, which gyms you're gonna hit, and then there's also a few smaller things that I'll point out after. And so where you want to stay, for me, is kind of similar to where I want to go, like which gyms I want to go to. There's a lot of good gyms out there. B Pump, they have multiple locations. Ogikubo, Akiba. They have Underground is getting more popular. Mabu, whatever. There's a lot of gyms out there. All of these gyms are that I mentioned are in like the greater Tokyo metropolitan area. And so if you're within the city, um, chances are like you'll have good access to it. I would recommend before booking your Airbnb, looking at the gyms on the map and seeing where they are and making sure that you're like relative or near the gyms that you'd want to go to. And so, yeah, I mean, that's really it for me. You're going to have good food everywhere. Transportation is going to be good everywhere. Like I said, plan the Airbnb next to a place with a train station. And then also, yeah, some smaller things you can plan for are, I mean, you should have convenience stores next to you. If you don't, that'd be kind of crazy in Tokyo. But make sure those are next to you. They're just super convenient for like late night snacks or drinks or medicine or whatever you need. I would also, oh yeah, and then as far as planning for Japan, you want to make sure you get your Suica. And so you can get it if you have an iPhone, you can just get it on the Wallet app. I'm not sure for Androids. When you go out there, you can also just get the Suica. The Suica is the currency card that they use for their train system, their subway system. And you're going to be using that like a lot. Super good out there. A lot of that, and then walking, of course. You can look up another video how to do that. It's pretty easy though. And then besides that, I'd say packing, right? So know what time of year you're going, right? I wouldn't recommend going in the summer, if I'm being honest. It's super hot and humid out there, unless you really like that. The spring has the cherry blossoms, and fall and winter, it's like drier, super good vibes, especially if you want to climb outdoors. Keep that in mind. Yeah, so I would say that is like the biggest thing. As far as packing, make sure like you're packing clothes um, for the right weather and stuff. Another thing I'd recommend is leaving some suitcase space. And when I go there, I like to buy stuff and bring it back, so I don't pack too heavy, basically. And then after you've booked your B&B and you've booked your flight, you're basically set. You're basically just waiting to get there. Once you get there, right, time comes around, you fly over there. There's a few things I would plan, right? So the first thing is the gym you're going to go to is most likely going to charge you an initiation fee for the first time going to the gym, right? And this is even for like different locations within the same chain. So B Pump will charge you an initiation fee for their Akiba location and their Ogikubo location. No flack, that's just how they do it over there, right? And then they'll also charge you the day fee, right? If you get just a day pass. If you know you're going to be going to the gym for a while, maybe get a punch pass or a monthly, I don't know. So there's that. The gym, obviously, like scout out the nearest convenience store. I recommend Fami Chiki. If you know, you know. What else? Honestly, those are the biggest things. You're gonna get used to learning the train system, right? Some people swear by Google Maps to like get them around. I just use Apple Maps, and just use like the transit setting. Um, yeah, as far as food, like I like to avoid more touristy spots. If it's your first time, like go for it. But I've been there a few times, and so now I like just getting good food for like cheaper. And so you can do that by just going to like more chain restaurants, or because it's still really good food. Like it's Japan, bro. Like so it's super dope. And there's often a lot of good food spots like right next to the climbing gyms. And so yeah. Um, One thing I do want to mention specifically is when you're in Japan, like try to be polite, right? It's part of their culture. I think it's what allows like that country to be so awesome. I can make a whole other video on like just glazing Japan as like a society. But yeah, I mean Japan's awesome. Be polite, respect the people, respect the culture, be aware. I'd say is the biggest thing. If you can just be self-aware, that's like 80% of your job done. Like you don't have to worry about anything else. Um, yeah, I totally just messed up my hair. Anyways, um, yeah, so that's it. Right. To sum it up, save money, job, whatever. Or if you have it, great. I'd say $3,000 for 2 weeks. This is February 2026. That might go up or down in the future. I would say plan where you want to stay and when you want to fly there. Um, Stay near big stations around your gyms, big train stations around your gyms. And then three, um, oh, sorry. Three, those are kind of just tips on when you're there. But yeah, I mean, those are the big things. Besides that, you'll figure the rest of it out once you're there. I know I'm planning to go back to Japan for bouldering specifically towards the end of the year. That's going to be super lit. I'll probably talk about that more in a different video. Um, but yeah, it's a quick video. If you have any other questions, feel free to hit me up. Um, and hopefully, I see you guys in Japan. That would be sick. Peace.